with me, Tanya Marie Figueres-Kreisinger, more easily known as TanyaMFK. So this is a weekly series recap of the lessons that I learned in 52 Weeks of Momentum being a member of the course. This is in no way a substitute for the course itself. The course is filling to the brim with tons of extras, huge support and group directly from Benjamin Hardy and all of those things. This is not that. This is not, what I'm offering is basically to share everything that I'm learning, all the exercises that we're doing. So if you're not part of this group, you can still tag along and get some momentum as well, because I'm going to be so excited that I'm sharing these ideas anyway, so I might as well just share them with a wider audience. So welcome. Let's jump in. Right? Let's just jump right in. So in week 2, we continue to focus on the goal thing, right? So if you watched the last week's video, you'll see that we were asked to write our top 5 goals. We really had to dive in deep. We went into identifying exactly what they were, clarifying very specifically, what we wanted, how we were going to do it, what's currently stopping us. And then we also got really underneath the why. Why is this important to us? Like, how deep? And we went like 7 layers deep, which is pretty crazy. If you've heard of the why, find your why thing, a lot of the exercise goes 3 layers deep. But for this exercise, we went 7 layers deep, super deep. And it's crazy how much you'll see your purpose for your goals change. You'll go from, I want to lose weight. Why? Well, I want to fit in my baby clothes. And like 7 layers later, you're like, because I'm going to save the world. Like, it's crazy. Okay, maybe it's not that, but it's close, right? You're just like, wow, it's so deep of what it is. And when you can unveil how deep that is, when you can get that low to why you want to do something, what the reason, what the purpose is, your motivation becomes that much stronger. Your motivation becomes something that's a lot easier to commit to because it's so deep within and resonates so seriously with you. So it was a really great exercise for us to do. But the point of this is that, we did that already, but we went back into talking about them a lot more in this lesson. And one of the things that Benjamin Hardy brought up is that our goals are going to flex and change. So they're not set. We set these, we're not set, but we set these 5 goals, but it's not like that's it. Goodbye, there's never changing, because as we grow, as we go through this course and we learn so much and we adapt and we change and we change our environments, all these different lessons that we're learning and foundations that we're growing with, your goals are going to do the same. Your goals are going to get clarified or be adjusted, or it could be something as simple as when you first set it, you grew and you learned more about yourself to realize like maybe it wasn't realistic, or maybe it was too easy. Maybe you said, well, I'm going to do this by the end of the year, and you weren't pushing yourself to something that maybe you could do in 6 months, or vice versa. We were like, I'm going to do this in a year, and it's like, that might take 5. The point is that it's going to adjust. You're going to need to come back and look at them. They're going to flex and change, and that is okay. That's a good thing. We want to do that. And he even went further to say, he mentioned for himself, as his goals have gone on, that he's noticing them change from his personal achievement-based type things and starting to move in towards helping others and really helping others achieve their goals. And those are the things that he's starting to focus on and change. And with that saying, he said it's really important for us to write down goals, to write down our goals, like the top 5 that we started with. Not only as a constant reminder, but as a constant review as well, to say like, is that still how I feel? Is that still really that important to me? And I wholeheartedly agree. I think having something on the wall, something visual, I'm a very visual person. I'm the kind of person who makes everything color-coded and crazy. Like, I have to see it. Even if you're not, I think this is still for everyone, is to get it up there. It holds yourself accountable. It's a reminder when you're walking through the living room or the bathroom, or wherever you put them, that they're up there. So it's hard when life goes on to constantly have these things in the forefront, right? Because something else is going to inevitably take your attention. A dog barks. I mean, it's going to be as simple as that. It's going to get in front of your house. So when you're going through your house and you can see that, it's like, oh yeah, that's right. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm putting up with the dog barking, whatever it is. It's just a great thing. So really simple, write it down. I'm super excited because this is actually my first day in our new house in Vietnam. So we're gonna be here for 3 months. Been traveling nonstop since November, and this is the first time we're gonna be like stay put in one place for a couple months. Super excited about that, which means I can write down my goals and stick them on a wall. So yay for the little things in life. So with this whole coming back to this thing about helping others, he shared 2 quotes with us. He said that meant a lot to him. And the first quote was from his mentor, Joe Polish. And the quote is, life gives to the givers and takes from the takers, right? Life gives to the givers and takes from the takers. The second is from Zig Ziglar, super motivational speaker, famous, like awesome guy. I mean, you can look up a bazillion things about Zig Ziglar. He's just legendary. And I really like this one. This one is, you can get everything you want in life if you help other people get what they want. So you can get everything you want in life if you help other people get what they want. And not only is this something that is a great principle to live by, you know, in your general life, to think about how you can give, you know, life gives to the givers, takes from takers. How can you be a giver? But also when this really struck me because, you know, my groups and the things that I work in is for business and with other entrepreneurs. And I thought this one was really poignant because a lot of times we get stuck in all the options for our business because we're going, okay, how can I make my next sale? How can I grow my subscriber list? How can I make this evergreen? And whatever the questions are, right? In the end, it's like, how can I make more money? How can I pay these bills? Whatever it is, right? Making sales, all that stuff comes down to more customers, more all that. And we get wrapped up, and from there it's like, okay, I found this new thing I could do on Instagram, or there's something I can do on Facebook, or there's advertising, and and like, what do I do? And if we stop for a moment and stop asking ourselves how we're going to get a new customer, how am I going to make a sale, how am I going to grow my list, and say, how can I help, you know, Joey reach his goal of XYZ? How can I help Miranda do ABC, whatever that is? So, you know, if you're a trainer and, you know, you have some clients and one of those clients is just having that struggle, like I just can't get past, you know, a plateau or something. You're like, how can I be the person that comes in and really shows her how to get past that? What can I do? What's going to help her do this? Or, you know, how can I show this gal that, you know, with her knee injury, she can still do this workout and it's going to be great for her and actually going to help her body get better, right? And you might think, okay, well, that's just an individual person. But what's going to happen is when you start to push through and think of how you do that, you're inevitably going to come up with your next business step, your next business solution. You're like, you know what? Because she's probably not the only one with that issue. And when you figured out how to help, you know, Miranda or Gina or whoever, fake people I've made up, when you figure out how to help them, you're going to get that light bulb like, oh, you know what? And if I do this and I make this and I can help like 10 people do that, and all of a sudden your business is going and flourishing because you started focusing on giving. You started focusing on that person and you stopped asking how you can do something for yourself, right? So I thought this was really, really a great quote that works really well in business. And honestly, it was like it's so simple. I mean, it wasn't like the first time I heard that, but for me, I was just like, well, like I had to go and like write a bunch of notes in my OneNote, and I had a whole like business epiphany going on of like, but it's such a simple thing, you know? Gives to the givers and takes to the takers. So be that giver. Focus on how you can help others achieve their goals, because isn't that what all our businesses are about anyway? If you're providing a service or a product, your product is helping them achieve something. As simple as a cleaning product, you know? How can I help them get that grime off of their bathtub? How can I do it? Well, okay, I have this product, my product can do this, and it's gonna totally help them do that. Wow, look, you're helping them achieve a goal, okay? So this is for everyone. My point is, it's for everyone. I got really excited about this quote. So we shared that with us. It was very clarifying for me. So moving forward, the next part of the lesson that he had for us was visiting Ray Dalio's 5-step goal setting process, right? Ray Dalio, totally honest, I had no idea who this guy was. Like, it vaguely sounded familiar when he mentioned it. Apparently, guy's like pretty huge American billionaire. For those of you who know who he is, you're probably laughing at me now, like, bro, who's this lady? He's a hedge fund manager, philanthropist, lots of money, very successful, right? That's the point. He's a good guy and a successful guy. Let's leave it at that. And he has a book called Principles, highly recommended by Benjamin Hardy. It's now on my reading list. If you guys are subscribed to that reading list, it's on there as well. So we were encouraged to revisit this list, even though we just had written our goals last week already, to go back through and make sure that we were using this process. So I'm going to go through these 5 steps now. If you are part of the accountability group, these 5 steps are also listed because it's going to be part of your lessons as well. But let's go through them here. So step 1 is have clear goals, right? I think if you've been listening to anything about setting goals, this is kind of number 1, like basic, right? You can't say, I want to lose weight. It's general, like what's weight, how much weight, you know, by when, how often, what does it mean? Like I have no idea what you're talking about. Lose weight, it's vague, right? So we need to be very specific, very numerical, you know, more money, more time, vague. Give me how much money, how much time. You want 30 minutes a day or you want an extra 4 hours a day? Big difference on what your goal steps are going to be if you know the specifics of your goal, right? So how can you move towards them if they're not specific? You won't. And that's the truth of it. You won't. You're just not going to move steps. And that's what 92% of people do. They don't do that. And they go, I don't know why, just not making my goals. And then the other 90% are like, I know, you're right? And then they all get together and just make each other feel good about not getting their goals because they're all doing the same crap. And then they have this great pity party and become the norm. And that's why the other 8% who actually meet their goals are the weirdos, right? So let's be the weirdos, guys. Let's be the weirdos. All right, so step 1, have clear goals, right? We got that. Step 2, identify and don't tolerate problems that stand in the way of achieving your dreams. So identify the problems and don't tolerate the problems that stand in the way of achieving your dreams. And he mentioned this this quote by Tony Robbins. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge Tony Robbins fan, or I say that I'm not, but every time I hear his quotes, I'm like, that's brilliant. So I get it, like I get the hype, okay? He's kind of awesome. But he says, Tony Robbins says, you get out of life what you are willing to tolerate. So what this means, right? If you tolerate a crappy job, you're gonna have a crappy job, right? Because you're tolerating it. You're like, you know, you're not like, I've had enough and I'm out. You're like Jerry Maguireing it. No, you're like, well, he's crappy, okay. And you're tolerating it. So guess what? Crappy job. Same thing. If you're willing to tolerate bad health, you're gonna have bad health. If you're like, well, I'm gonna eat crappy, I'm gonna do this. Well, okay, you're tolerating bad food, you're tolerating unhealthy stuff. Guess what? Surprise, you know, bad stuff. If you're gonna use your time poorly, and I love the way this sounds. If you're gonna tolerate using your time poorly, you're gonna spend your time poorly. Whoa, right? Okay. And if you're gonna tolerate not having an incredible and amazing life, you get what you tolerate, right? So you get in life what you believe you deserve. Says, and he goes on to explain that this is a subconscious belief. It's back in here, right? And if you listened to the lesson last week, we talked about, and in one of my articles, we also talked about, like, your subconscious is the one who's really in charge. And if you don't think so, while you're listening to me go and talk as fast as I do, are you thinking about breathing right now? No, you're not. You're not. Your subconscious is handling that for you. It's literally keeping you alive as you listen to me. So your subconscious is a real deal. It's not some foofy stuff that you want to argue about. This is a real thing. And somewhere in there, you've ingrained in it what you believe you deserve and what you believe, you know, is the norm, and you're willing to tolerate. So if you believe that you deserve the type of, you know, this type of life, and this is just the way it is, and poverty and whatnot, then that is what you're going to get. And that's why a big part of this group, a big part of being part of this, and even the group that I'm in, right, 52 Weeks of Momentum, but also for those of you in the accountability group following along with me, this is why I'm asking you to make public commitments. This is why we're sharing our tracking sheet so others can see. This is why you're being held accountable, and investing in yourself to push through 52 weeks with me. That's a long time, right? And the way Benjamin Hardy put it is that he's working on shattering your subconscious patterns of what you think you believe. Because a lot of times we just think, oh, that I believe that. But have you really questioned, like, why do I believe that? Where's that coming from? What is that? Did I even make a conscious choice to believe that, or is it just something I just eventually accepted about ABC, anything, right? About the way life is. That's a big one. It's just the way it is. Such crap. So you can believe, do, and have great things. That's a whole other concept that's amazing, is this was it believe, have, do, yeah. It's believe, do, have, right? A lot of people have it backwards. I think we have to do something, and then we have it, and then we can believe in ourselves, right? But it's backwards. We need to believe in ourselves. We need to, what is it? I keep mixing up here. We need to believe, and then we do it, and then we'll have it, right? Like, just start doing it. It's like, if you believe you're a tennis player, start going playing tennis. Eventually, you're going to be a tennis player. Woo! Amazing. I'm not saying you're going to be the top in the world, but you can legitimately say, I'm a tennis player, because that's what you do, because you've been playing tennis, right? Your life is a reflection of the problems you seek to solve. It's another thing. That was a quote that he put out to us. Your life is a reflection of the problems you seek to solve, right? So if you are trying to solve world hunger, your life is going to reflect somebody with that type of drive, with that type of big thinking, right? According to Dalio, this is Ray Dalio, you will receive the resources based on the pursuits and the causes that you're willing to go after. And they also mention this, and I'm sorry, I don't have maybe you guys can tell me who this quote is from, but I hear it all the time, and it's, whenever you make a decision, the universe will conspire to make it happen. Now, whether you believe in some outside source, universe, or if you just want to also think of this in the sense of, like, when you've made a decision, when you make a decision, you're like, this is what I'm going to do, and it says the universe will conspire to make it happen. It's also that it's in your mind, like it's in your forefront, right? You're paying attention now because you're like, this is the way it's going to be. It's like when you buy a car and you notice that every other, you notice all the other cars, right? Like say you have a Toyota Prius or something, and then you're driving, you're like, gosh, like everybody drives a Prius. No, they don't. It's the same amount of Priuses that were there before, but you're noticing it now because it's like, you made a commitment, you bought that car, right? So now you're seeing it everywhere. And it's the same thing that happens when you make a decision for anything in our life. If you're like, I'm going to work out, or I'm going to only eat healthy food, you start to notice all these like healthy restaurants. You're like, there's so many, they just popped up yesterday. No, they've been there, you just weren't paying attention, right? So now you see it. So I love that quote. Someone can tell me who says it, but whenever you make a decision, the universe will conspire to make it happen. So take that in whatever way makes it comfortable for you, but it's a great quote in either case. So number 3 is accurately diagnose problems to get to their root causes. This is another huge one. Like these two, the last one right now and this one I think are the biggest ones. Accurately diagnose problems to get to their root causes. And I think there is an emphasis on accurately. Too often we want to point to outside sources and be like, well, I can't because it's this and it's that. It's just out of my control. It's a whole messed up way of thinking. Yes, there are things that happen around us that we're not like puppeteering, but what you do in it and what surrounds this and your choices to how to react, how to feel, and how to proceed, those are all up to us. All up to us, right? So just like we did with the 7 layers of why with our motivations, and when we start to uncover the layers of this, what is the real issue? Inevitably we start to see a lot that it's us, right? That more times than not the problem is a reflection of us and our choices. And even if we want to point at someone else and their behavior, which I've had a lot of times, like family stuff, right? Like, but she just won't ever change, they're just never gonna do this. You're still allowing that in your life. You have a choice. You're like, but it's hard, it's my cousin, whatever. Again, choices, right? Oh, it's hard. It's still you. You've allowed it, you've tolerated it, right? We always have choices. It's just about what we're willing to do or not to do. So if you're allowing crappy people in your life, that's on you, right? So that was a tough one though, but yeah. After that, right, after we've gotten to like kind of the nitty gritty, like hard stuff there, the next ones I think again are relatively painless. So this is number 4. Design plans that will get you around those problems. Right? So now you've said, okay, I can't hang out with Gina anymore. She's like a totally bad influence. She always wants to go to McDonald's, right? Whatever. And I'm trying to lose this weight, can't do it. So you have to think about the plans and steps of how to get around those problems. Like, how am I going to get around not going to McDonald's with Gina? It can be something as simple as just having a conversation with Gina, like, look, the McDonald's thing, it's out. Like, don't even ask me. I don't want to talk about it. It's not going to happen, right? Or it could be as drastic, like, Gina, we're not friends anymore. This is never happening. Like, don't ever call me, lose my number, right? Probably not necessary, but again, on you. This is your life. Do you, boo. So me, I'm always on the road, right? I've been traveling since November. I've been traveling for a few years now, but nonstop since November. We've been going through Southeast Asia, and I had the baby last year, gained some weight, if you notice, and I definitely want to lose weight, but I'm on the road, and it's really hard to, a lot of times we're eating the street food, and we're just, you're nomadic. It's place to place. Nothing's really consistent. We haven't really had places with kitchens, and when we do, it's, for a week or something. It's just up and down and all around, right? I mean, I can't tell you how many cities and countries I've been to just in the last couple months. And so I wasn't eating healthy. My excuse was like, I'm on the road. My food choices are limited. But honestly, once I committed, when I joined this group, and on January 1st was when we started, and I committed, I started to find things. I started to find things to cut out, which were like these delicious fruit shakes that are always on the side of the road. Yes, they're delicious. Yes, they're healthy, but it's still fruit. I don't need 4 of them a day, let alone 1 of them a day. Once in a while maybe. I don't have to try every dessert that I see. I'm not even a dessert person, but they look so neat here in Asia. So I always want to try everything. But I don't need to. I can cut these things down, and I can make better choices regardless, right? And I started doing that, and I immediately saw some weight loss in just my first 2 weeks. So design plans. There's a plan. Once I was committed, I made clear plans on how to avoid it. It's okay, I'm going to cut these out, cut that out, and it worked, okay? Lastly, and we're wrapping this up, don't worry. Number 5, do what's necessary to push those plans to completion, right? So now you've made this great plan, you've worked out some nitty-gritty internal issues, you're like, okay, here it is. Now you need to do what's necessary to push through. So I just read a story literally last week about a guy who wanted to bulk up in a really short amount of time, and he had to go on some crazy regimen. I guess he's really skinny, and he had to eat kind of a ridiculous amount of calories, I don't know, 4,000 calories a day or something, to bulk up to the amount he wanted in this short amount of time. Okay, so healthy, not healthy, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that because I don't know. But the point was he ended up with this really strict regimen, and I mean, it totally affected his whole life. Had to work around it, and he was explaining this. He's like, it was crazy, and I had to I couldn't go to see friends or go out to eat certain things because I had to have this, and this had to happen at this time. And I'm sure people looking on the outside, and even some of his friends were like, whoa, he's lost his mind, he's totally obsessed with this, oh, this isn't good. But he did it. He did all that craziness. He missed out on things with friends, and I think it was something short, 2 months, right? 60 days. He did all this, and he made his goal. He did it, right? And now everyone can come around and be like, oh my God, you look great. How'd you do it? That's amazing. Oh, no. Now it wasn't obsessive, right? Now it wasn't so crazy. Now, crazy or not, the point was he set a mind to it, and he did it, and he did what it took. And was it weird or different or uncomfortable? Sounds like it was. But didn't matter, and it was pretty temporary for 60 days. He did it, and he did whatever it took. And if that meant missing out on some things, I think in the long run, his accomplishment, his goal was worth a few dinner parties and a few birthdays. You can make those up. You can go out for coffee or something, and you don't have to do all those other things. You don't have to anything. So he pushed through and made his goal. So do what's necessary. If it's something as crazy as that, if that's what it's necessary, do it. A lot of times it's not even something that crazy, right? So if you've been following along and you used the worksheet, I provided the worksheet in the Biz Builders group. So if you're not part of the Biz Builders group, go to facebook.com/wearebizbuilders. You can join the group, it's free, but I offered all of the worksheets there, so you can do the 7 levels of why, you can do the 2018 goals. It gives the prompts of how to set that all up and to do it. If you've done that, I encourage you, I was encouraged to go back and make sure that it fits along this 5-step process as well. Did you meet all these? Is there any adjustment that needs to happen? And that was really the big bulk of our lesson, right? That was a big bulk of our lesson for week 2. And just in wrapping up here, a few other things. He did mention a little thing about social media. We were challenged to address our social media habits and to really limit that social interaction. This is something that's just happened to me in a sense by chance, just because of traveling and doing the stuff that we've done. And also I had to uncommit to some of my travel blogs and things like that were taking time away from my business. So I've been limiting it. But I like how he says, go on social media with intention and purpose, right? Most of us, I'm going to feel safe saying 99% of us don't go onto Facebook or Instagram with intention, meaning a purpose. Like, what I'm on there to see specifically what Gina was doing yesterday, right? And we go on there to basically kill time. We start scrolling, right? Just scrolling, Facebook scrolling, Instagram scrolling, what filters are on Snapchat, whatever your demon is, right? Whatever your deal is. Rarely is it with intention and purpose, right? If you really want to kind of to find more time and take that social media time down a notch, before you jump on, go like, what's my point of going on there? And maybe it is to see what Gina did. Maybe you're just being nosy, but that's fine. Go see what Gina did and jump off, right? Know why you're going and then get the hell out of there. And even for those of you who are using it just for business, same thing. I know for myself, I will go on there because I have 2 business pages that I manage, and I even have some corporate clients that I take care of, and I'll get on there and I'll totally get distracted, 5 articles later and some birthday message. I'm like, crap, what was I doing? And it's crazy distracting, right? So we need to really get on there, get in, get out. And he encouraged us to go for 10 minutes or less a day. So for some of you, it might sound like, oh my God, try it out. Or maybe if you know that it's excessive for you, pick a number that works and just try it. All you can do is try it, okay? This isn't an assignment that he gave us. It's something we're just encouraged to do. Another thing, though, that he's really, really adamant about, and this is something that I absolutely want to implement in my life, is in the morning, abstaining from social media, definitely upon waking. Like, that's a huge no-no, like especially in this group for us, big no-no. But if you can push it even to the first 90 minutes, like don't even look at it for the first 90 minutes. So if you're establish your morning routine, if which that then moves into some work or whatever it is, do all that before you get into social media. So that's a great thing to try. It's a great daily goal to have. And the other one, that one's been okay for me, it's the nighttime that gets me. So a lot of times I'm tired, I just want to kind of unwind. I'm kind of off in my work schedule right now, and I'll sit there and I'll scroll. And that is a huge no-no as well. Our brains need to be somewhere else, and this is a huge problem with people's sleep as well. Like we're just putting it full of information, and then we're trying to go to sleep. And we're like, I don't know why I can't sleep. Like, you literally just absorbed a ton of information, and then we're like, no, brain rest, not gonna happen, right? So 60 minutes before bed, no more social media. So shovel it in, get it all, num social media, and then 60 minutes before bed, no more. See if you can do that. So the 3 things that you could try: no social media within the first 90 minutes of waking up. Don't use it within the last 60 minutes of going to sleep. Try to limit to only 10 minutes a day. There you go. So try that. To recap some of the things I mentioned, which were book recommendations, is Ray Dalio Principles. He also mentioned to us The Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That gets mentioned a lot to us. So if that hasn't been on your radar, that's a classic. There's lots of great takeaways from that. He mentioned another one that was new for me, which was called Tribal Leadership. It's by Dave Logan, Haley Fisher-Wright, and John King. This one, very interesting how it talks about tribal leadership. It's not. It's kind of a lot about how we work together, and I think there's a lot of insights for this as business as well. It might not sound like it at first, but absolutely, definitely, how we work and good tribes, how they survive, different things. Definitely business helpful as well. And then lastly, some articles to read. These are all Benjamin Hardy articles. If you're interested, these are some great articles. First one is How to Consistently Act from Your Deepest Why and Optimize Your Time. So how to consistently act from your deepest why and optimize your time. This is a great one. Second one is how to, 1, get into peak states, 2, make bold decisions, 3, invest in yourself, and 4, achieve your most audacious goals. So again, how to get into peak states, make bold decisions, invest in yourself, and achieve your most audacious goals. That is the actual name of the article. And the last one is, if you don't believe in setting goals, it's because you don't know how to do it. So again, that's if you don't believe in setting goals, it's because you don't know how to do it. So basically just do a Google search of any of those titles and you're gonna be able to find his articles free and able to read. I follow him on Medium. I love it there, and you can follow me on Medium as well, TanyaMFK. And again, if you're not already part of the Biz Builders group on Facebook, come in and join. It's free. Not only do we have things like this, like the tag along group, but we also do weekly live lessons. I basically jump in there and say a bunch of stuff all week. So get in there, be part of it, got nothing to lose. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then don't forget to click that red subscribe button and you'll get notifications and a heads up when I have something else to tell you. All right, so have a great day, and I will see you guys next week for the tag along group. All right, bye-bye.